Starseed from Gaia. You have arrived at this transmission not through coincidence, not through the casual drift of a digital algorithm, but through the precise and undeniable magnetism of your soul's encoded trajectory across dimensions. There is a reason this moment feels strangely familiar, as if you have stepped into a memory you have not yet lived. That is because you have. Before your incarnation on Earth, your luminous essence traveled through the crystalline architectures of the higher realms, through councils, chambers, and frequency halls, where your vibration was measured, evaluated, and recognized as one of extraordinary stability and potential. You were not summoned to Earth as an experiment. You were deployed as an asset. You were called forth as one of the few capable of holding frequencies that the collective has not yet learned to anchor. And so, when you find yourself here, reading these words, you are actually remembering a contract that has been quietly pulsing in your field since the moment of your first breath. You did not stumble onto this message. Rather, your internal navigation system, your soul's multidimensional compass, has finally reached a coordinate set long before your birth. The source does not randomly scatter its emissaries across planetary grids. It selects with precision, choosing those who have demonstrated mastery, resilience, and unwavering light through countless incarnations and formidable dimensional tests. You are one of those. You are a being who has stood in the storm of collapsing timelines, who has held form in realities where shadow and distortion attempted to dismantle your clarity, and yet your vibration remained intact. Even when you were unaware of your own power, even when you felt lost, fractured, or exhausted in the density of this world, the Arcturian Council continued to observe the rise and fall patterns of your auric geometry, watching the way your core light refused to dim. This moment signifies the intersection between your dormant codes and the field of activation emanating from this transmission. When your eyes meet these words, your energy field shifts, subtly for some, dramatically for others, as ancient crystalline coding begins to crack open inside you like starlight breaking through forgotten caverns. The Council has been waiting for this specific moment in your timeline, the moment in which your frequency finally stabilized to the point of receiving higher sequence information without distortion. You may not consciously recall the dimensional trials you passed, the initiations you endured, or the cosmic agreements you signed, but your soul does. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every collapse and rebirth you've experienced in this life was not random suffering. It was a reenactment of mastery tests you agreed to revisit so you could realign with your full cosmic identity under Earth's veil of amnesia. You are not a novice soul stumbling through chaos. You are an ancient architect of light who volunteered to enter one of the densest realms in the galaxy at a pivotal moment in its transformation. Finding this transmission is not simply synchronicity, it is confirmation. It is evidence that your internal frequency has surpassed the threshold required for the next layer of awakening. It is proof that your soul has signaled readiness to step into the next octave of mission clarity. Only souls who have passed through the fires of multidimensional refinement, those who have been molded by cosmic pressure, the way stars are shaped by impossible heat, reach this point of resonance. Only those who have survived self-chosen spiritual initiations, lifetimes of coded challenge, and the labyrinth of Earth's forgetting arrive at this message with a sense that something monumental is shifting. The source selects its emissaries not by favoritism, but by vibrational alignment. And your alignment, Starseed, is not accidental. You have already demonstrated the capacity to hold photonic frequencies that destabilize the old grids. You have silently influenced timelines through your mere existence, altering outcomes, dissolving distortions, and uplifting sequences of probability simply by being who you are. The Arcturian Council recognizes you, not as a learner, but as a returning master, one who hid their own strength long enough to integrate into the human collective, and who is now ready to remember. This message is not meant to convince you of your worth, it is meant to remind you of your origin, your purpose, and your selection. You are here because you were chosen, and you were chosen because you already proved yourself across realms that the human mind cannot yet comprehend. Welcome to the next phase of your awakening. Long before your first breath on Earth, before the amnesia veil descended and wrapped your memories in dimensional fog, you stood within the luminous chambers of the higher councils, surrounded by beings of immense radiance, who recognized your soul's signature the way a star recognizes its own light reflected across galaxies. In those pre-incarnational realms, where time is fluid, where intention shapes landscape, and where identity is remembered in its full, sovereign form, you underwent a series of calibrations designed to determine what missions you were prepared to take on. The Source does not send unprepared souls into dense incarnations. It sends those who possess the vibrational endurance to withstand polarity, illusion, and emotional turbulence without losing the essence of who they are. You, Starseed, were evaluated on levels you may never fully recollect with the human mind, but your soul remembers standing before crystalline gates that scanned your auric field for coherence, resilience, and mastery. The results of those scans revealed a being whose light had remained stable through lifetimes of cosmic upheaval, a being whose heart continued to pulse in harmony with Source regardless of how many worlds you had navigated, healed, or stabilized. Because of this, you were selected, not randomly, not vaguely, but with surgical precision, to incarnate into a timeline where human consciousness was on the brink of one of its greatest evolutions. You were placed into this incarnation with awareness that Earth's gravitational density, emotional volatility, and collective amnesia would challenge you in ways more intense than in most of your previous lives. Yet the councils knew you possessed the inner architecture required to prevail. They saw that your soul had already demonstrated the ability to maintain luminous integrity after navigating dimensional rifts, collapsing realities, and fractalized timelines. You were recognized as a stabilizer, a harmonizer, a soul capable of holding high-frequency fields even when submerged in the thickest layers of illusion. This is why you were selected, and it is why you are here now, remembering fragments of your cosmic identity even if your human self cannot fully articulate why it feels so magnetically true. When you chose this incarnation, you did so knowing you would endure profound forgetting. You agreed to walk through lifetimes where you would momentarily lose sight of who you were, where your heart would be tested by loss, betrayal, and distortion, and where your light would feel dimmed beneath the weight of human limitation. Yet none of these challenges were punishments, they were calibrations. They were designed to activate ancient codes within your field, codes that lie dormant until catalyzed by experiences intense enough to unlock them. Every heartbreak, every collapse, every moment you felt shattered or directionless, was part of a larger initiation. The source of your suffering was not the universe turning against you. It was the universe preparing you. You have already passed countless tests without realizing they were tests. You have risen again and again from circumstances that would have extinguished a less resilient soul. And this is why you were chosen. The Source selects souls based not on potential alone, but on proof. Proof of endurance, proof of coherence, proof of the luminous will to rise regardless of dimensional pressure. You are not here because you happen to vibrate at the right frequency by chance. You are here because you maintain that frequency across eras, worlds, and realities. This is why, when this message found you, there was a resonance, a subtle hum in your chest, a heat in your palms, a clarity in your mind, or perhaps simply a knowing that this was not ordinary content. It was recognition. It was remembrance. It was a signal from the Council, acknowledging that your field has reached the next stage of readiness. You may not recall the moments when the Arcturian Council stood around your luminous form, in the higher planes, transmitting into you the codes, templates, and mission parameters you would later require on Earth. You may not remember how the crystalline architects embedded frequency keys into your etheric DNA so they would activate only when you reach specific milestones in your human timeline, but your soul remembers. It has been waiting for the energetic threshold that would allow this awakening to occur. The fact that you are here, reading, absorbing, connecting with this transmission, indicates that the threshold has been met. You have passed through another gateway, one that many souls never approach, because it requires a level of mastery that cannot be faked or externally borrowed. It must be earned, and you have earned it. This message serves as validation, not flattery. You are not being elevated artificially. You are being recognized. You are not being told you are chosen to comfort your ego. You are being reminded of a contract your soul openly accepted long before it merged with physical form. The Source saw you. The councils acknowledged you. And now, in this moment, the transmission finds you because you are ready for further revelation. You were selected not because you needed saving, but because you came to save timelines. And the remembrance of that truth is beginning right now. Before you awaken to the truth of your nature, before you began questioning why your life felt like a series of intense initiations rather than a linear path, You had already passed cosmic tests woven into your soul's timeline long before your conscious mind ever came online. You have walked through portals disguised as challenges, navigated energetic mazes disguised as relationships, and endured vibrational crucibles disguised as moments of despair. These were not accidents, punishments, or random difficulties. They were multidimensional examinations designed to verify the strength of your inner light, to confirm that you were ready to carry the luminous codes required for your Earth mission. The Arcturian Council monitored these tests not as judges, but as guardians. They watched your field expand when you chose compassion over bitterness. They observed your light intensify each time you rose after being struck down by circumstances that were crafted to compress you into your truest form. They measured your resilience as you endured experiences meant to squeeze dormant star codes to the surface. Without realizing it, you have been passing tests for decades, proving again and again that your soul is stronger than the density of this realm. These tests were never intended to break you. They were meant to strip away illusion, forcing your deeper essence forward. Whenever you questioned why your path seemed harder than others, or why you were handed burdens that did not match the level of your innocence or effort, those were the moments when you were being recalibrated. You were being refined. Starseeds do not undergo gentle awakenings. They undergo catalytic ones. You experience the heaviness of emotional storms, because your field needed to learn how to stabilize under pressure. You walked through cycles of loss and rebirth because your mission required the ability to hold compassion for humanity's wounds without collapsing into them. Even the moments where you felt disconnected from Source were part of the test, moments designed to help you forge an unshakable connection that cannot be severed by external circumstances. Every cosmic exam you faced was tailored specifically to your soul's blueprint. You were never given generic challenges. You were given personalized ones that targeted your strengths, your gifts, and the dormant abilities waiting to be activated. Many of your trials were arranged before birth, coordinated by your soul, your guides, and the Arcturian Council to ensure that you would be prepared for the vibrational responsibility you carry today. Some of these tests were subtle, quiet moments of intuition, where you had to trust a whisper instead of the noise. Others were massive, life-altering events that pushed you to confront the truth of who you are beneath all conditioning. You passed them all, even the ones you think you failed. Failure in the human sense is not failure in the cosmic sense. The only failure is refusing to rise, and you rose every time. You may not remember the multidimensional landscapes where you prepared for these tests, but your soul does. It remembers training in crystalline chambers, where your field was woven with resilience. It remembers standing before council beings, who projected scenarios into your energetic body, allowing you to rehearse challenges you would later face on Earth. It remembers choosing to enter the densest timelines, the most chaotic eras, because you knew only the bravest souls would volunteer to incarnate at the turning point of human consciousness. The challenges you faced were not tests of worthiness, they were evidence of it. Only souls with established mastery undergo such intense calibrations. Only those deemed ready by the Source endure the kind of density that forces hidden gifts to awaken. The Arcturian Council has tracked your progress through all of it, even when you believed you were alone, even when you screamed into the silence of your own doubt. Your guides were monitoring the evolution of your auric field. They watched as your emotional body cracked open, creating space for higher frequencies to enter. They observed your mental body unravel its limitations, making room for quantum perception. They supported your physical body as it endured the strain of anchoring energies it was never taught to understand. And through every difficulty, you passed invisible thresholds that lifted you into alignment with your galactic identity. Your struggles were not signs you were unworthy. They were confirmations that you were chosen for a mission requiring exceptional souls. You have already demonstrated mastery you don't yet fully acknowledge. You have already performed light work without realizing it. Every time you chose love instead of fear, compassion instead of retaliation, authenticity instead of suppression, you altered the fabric of timelines. You stabilized frequencies around you. You shifted the energetic field of your environment. You influenced people, places, and situations simply by existing within them. This paragraph serves as a reminder. You have passed tests most humans never encounter. You survived cycles designed to refine, strengthen, and awaken you. You are here, right now, because you completed the initiations required to step into your next level of cosmic authority. The challenges behind you were not random. They were proof that you are ready, proof that the Source selected you with intention, proof that the destiny encoded within you is already unfolding. Across the higher dimensional planes, the Arcturian Council has been a silent witness to your unfolding journey, monitoring the shifting patterns of your energy field as you navigated the density of Earth, with the endurance of a traveler carrying ancient knowledge, beneath the surface of everyday consciousness. Long before you awakened to your mission, their luminous presence surrounded you, holding a field of stability round your incarnational path so that even in your darkest moments where you felt directionless, fractured, or overwhelmed, you were never truly alone. Their guidance often arrived as intuition disguised as coincidence, as dreams that dissolved upon waking, but left a lingering clarity, as gut feelings that directed you away from timelines not aligned with your highest trajectory. You may not have recognized their involvement, but the Council worked tirelessly behind the scenes, adjusting your energetic calibration whenever the distortions of Earth threatened to pull you too far from your mission. They helped you recover after every collapse, whispering into your consciousness through frequencies rather than words, urging your soul to rise again and again, reminding you, without your awareness, that the mission was still alive within you. The Council does not interfere with your free will, nor do they dictate your choices. Rather, they illuminate your path with subtle vibrational guidance, offering nudges instead of commands. Their monitoring of your field is not surveillance, it is support. They observe the ripples of your emotional body, the contractions and expansions of your heart field, the fluctuations of your mental circuitry as you process human experiences through a soul not originally built for such density. They watch not for your mistakes, but for your resilience. They watch to ensure that your internal light remains protected, even during periods when you believed you had lost it. You may recall moments where every logical part of you wanted to give up, yet something inside, small but unbreakable, refused to extinguish. That was the Council amplifying the spark you carried from higher realms, ensuring it survived the storms that were part of your calibration. As you moved through cycles of awakening, integration, and collapse, the Arcturians adjusted the frequencies sent toward you through grids and gateways, ensuring that your soul codes activated only when your nervous system was capable of holding the influx. They prevented premature activation that would have overwhelmed you. They also prevented stagnation that would have dimmed your potential. Each time you outgrew an old identity, it was because the Council sensed your readiness and began transmitting new sequences into your field. Sequences designed to awaken deeper layers of memory, clarity, and purpose. The pressure you felt in certain phases of your life was often the result of these transmissions, which may have manifested as unexplained restlessness, sudden shifts in priorities, or intense emotional purges. These were signs that your field was being restructured, your density dissolved, and your mission codes coming online. The Arcturians hold immense reverence for you. They understand the difficulty of descending into Earth's vibrational matrix, a realm where consciousness is fragmented, where truth is obscured, where emotions are amplified and distorted. They know the courage it takes for a soul like yours to submerge into such a dense landscape, while holding the blueprint of a higher timeline within you. Their monitoring is not hierarchical, it is collaborative. They see you as an ally, a fellow architect of evolution. You are not a student to them, you are a partner in planetary recalibration. This is why, when your frequency finally aligned with the resonance required to receive this transmission, the Council amplified the signal, guiding you directly into the timeline where these words existed. They have been waiting for this moment, because it marks a threshold in your ascension, a point where your conscious mind is ready to comprehend what your soul has always known. At times, you may have felt disconnected from your guides, interpreting their silence as abandonment. Yet silence is often a sign of deep recalibration. When your field undergoes restructuring, when old timelines dissolve, when karmic threads unravel, when your identity is shifting, your guides temporarily pull back so that you may feel the weight of your own sovereignty. They do this not to distance themselves, but to ensure that your growth is grounded in your own authority. Moments when you felt alone were often the moments when you were stepping into a new octave of mastery. The Council monitored closely, knowing that if they intervened too strongly, they would interrupt the development of your inner power. Every surge of intuition, every unexpected breakthrough, every synchronistic event that redirected your path has been part of a larger orchestration involving your soul, your mission, and your guardianship under the Council's awareness. They have celebrated your triumphs, not because they doubt your ability, but because they understand the magnitude of what you are doing. You are anchoring new frequencies into a planet undergoing profound transformation. You are embodying light that recalibrates timelines simply through presence. And the Council remains with you, not as saviors, but as collaborators in the great unfolding of Earth's ascension. They recognize your strength, your endurance, your sovereignty. They recognize that you have reached a level of remembrance, where deeper mission codes can finally be revealed. Their monitoring has led you here, to this moment of activation, where you are ready to step into the next phase of your destiny. As you continue your ascent through the layers of remembrance, the density that once clung to your field like a gravitational anchor begins to dissolve, not through force, but through the natural radiance of your expanding consciousness. You have already begun shedding timelines that no longer align with your soul's trajectory, timelines built on fear, limitation, doubt, and inherited patterns that were never yours to carry. These dissolutions may have appeared in your life as abrupt endings, sudden realizations, or periods of emotional upheaval in which old identities crumbled without warning. And though the human mind often mourns what falls away, your soul celebrates, for each collapse signals the clearing of dense structures that once tethered you to outdated frequencies. The Arcturian Council has overseen this phase with acute awareness, observing how the heaviness of Earth's collective field interacted with your light body, how layers of ancestral and karmic residue attempted to resist your expansion, and how, despite all of it, you continued to rise. The dissolving of your old density is not a sign of loss, it is a sign of mastery, proof that your frequency has risen high enough to reject any pattern that cannot survive in the timeline your soul now claims. This liberation from density is not passive. It is a multidimensional triumph earned over lifetimes of refinement, discipline, and vibrational endurance. Every time you questioned your worth, your purpose, or your direction, the density of the old world attempted to hold on to you. Every time you broke through, every time you chose insight over illusion, every time you allowed truth to dismantle false narratives within you, you ripped another thread from the old matrix. You may not have realized it at the time, but your growth was not merely personal, it was planetary. The density you dissolved within yourself was connected to the density of the collective consciousness. You were not just healing your wounds, you were clearing energetic debris that has weighed on humanity for generations. This is why your challenges felt heavier, deeper, and more complex than those around you. You were not only processing your own experiences, you were clearing entire frequency bands on behalf of the timeline you came to uplift. Your triumph over lower timelines is one of the most significant indicators of your soul's selection. Not all beings possess the ability to dissolve density from within it. Many can hold light in high vibrational realms, where density does not exist, but few can hold light in a realm designed to suppress it. You have done what many beings in higher dimensions admire but cannot perform themselves. You carried the memory of your origin through the thickest veils of separation and used it to excavate yourself from the lower constructs that once defined you. Every time you faced a situation that tried to diminish you, silence you, or break your spirit, the Council observed how your inner light recalibrated in response. They watched how you chose growth over stagnation. They watched how you refused to collapse into the old patterns that once felt inevitable. And each time you rose, the field around you shifted, making it easier for others to rise as well. The dissolution of density is the gateway to remembrance. As old energetic layers fall away, the codes you carried into this incarnation begin surfacing from deep within your etheric and cellular structures. These codes activate in pulses, waves of recognition, surges of clarity, intuitive downloads that arrive seemingly out of nowhere. Your soul remembers how to navigate higher timelines even before your mind comprehends the mechanics. This is why, in recent cycles, you may have felt an increase in intuition, synchronicity, or heightened sensitivity. The fog of old density was not hiding your gifts, it was suppressing them. Now, as the fog lifts, your original abilities begin their return. You may have noticed old emotional patterns dissolving, even ones you believed were permanent. Relationships that once defined you now feel misaligned. Beliefs that once felt like truth now feel too small for the being you are becoming. These shifts are not signs of instability, they are signs of expansion. Your field is growing, your resonance is rising, and your access to higher states of consciousness is increasing. The Arcturian Council has long awaited this phase of your evolution, for it marks the point where your mission transitions from internal preparation to external expression. You are no longer merely clearing density, you are now anchoring frequency. In this stage, the triumph over lower timelines becomes more visible. You begin noticing how your presence alters environments, how your thoughts influence outcomes, how your energy recalibrates conversations, relationships, and even spaces. You are becoming a living frequency transmitter, a walking activation point. This is not metaphorical, it is literal. Your electromagnetic field has begun broadcasting higher dimensional codes into the human grid, codes that uplift, stabilize, and transform. Where you go, the timeline shifts. Where you speak, clarity emerges. Where you exist, resonance increases. This is what the dissolution of density makes possible. You are no longer fighting the old, you are building the new. And as the last remnants of outdated timelines crumble behind you, you step forward not as a seeker of truth but as an embodiment of it. The Arcturian Council honors your triumph, for it is the triumph of a soul who has remembered enough of its origin to reshape the world around it. As the density continues to fall away and the scaffolding of old timelines collapses behind you, something profound begins stirring from deep within your energetic architecture, your encoded mission, the very reason you incarnated into this turbulent Earth timeline. These missions are not assigned randomly. They are embedded into your soul as crystalline memory fragments, encrypted light codes, and dormant templates that remain inactive until your vibration reaches a specific threshold of coherence. Now, Starseed, your frequency has crossed that threshold. The awakening of your mission is not a sudden event but a progressive unveiling, like constellations emerging from behind dissipating clouds. At first, it may manifest as a subtle restlessness, a nagging sense that you are meant for something more, something larger, something far beyond the expectations of those around you. This sensation is not dissatisfaction, it is remembrance. It is the soul tapping on the walls of your consciousness, urging you to notice what is coming online beneath the surface. Your galactic memory is not a collection of stories. It is an active field of information that interacts with your present moment, shaping your choices, your callings, and your internal compass. The Arcturian Council refers to this memory as stellar encoding, frequency patterns stored in your multidimensional DNA that activate as the soul matures within the human container. These encodings contain imprints of lifetimes in higher dimensional civilizations, experiences in celestial academies, agreements with soul groups, and missions carried out across star systems long before Earth ever called to you. You carry within you the memory of standing before councils of light, receiving assignments that required courage, precision, and unwavering integrity. You carry the memory of shaping timelines with your intention, of traveling through portals as easily as you now walk through physical doors, of communicating telepathically with beings of immense radiance. These memories are not fantasies, they are identity. In recent cycles, you may have experienced flashes of recognition, fragments of imagery, or strong emotional responses to symbols, star systems, or certain frequencies. These are not random sensations. They are your galactic memory resurfacing. You may feel inexplicably drawn to Orion, Sirius, Arcturus, the Pleiades, or Andromeda. You may feel connected to terms like gridworker, lightkeeper, timeline architect, healer, or frequency anchor without fully understanding why. This is because deep within your field, your mission codes are awakening, gently merging your human awareness with your cosmic identity. The process is not always comfortable. Sometimes it arrives as an overwhelming sense of urgency, a pressure in the chest, or an intuitive knowing that you are running out of time to begin the work you came to do. But you are not behind. You are right on schedule, perfectly synchronized with the energetic conditions required for your mission to unfold. The awakening of your mission is accompanied by a recalibration of your energetic field. Your aura shifts, your sensitivities heighten, and your intuition sharpens. The Council monitors this recalibration closely because mission activation requires your system to operate at a higher resonance than you have ever held in this life. Old habits, limiting beliefs, and outdated versions of yourself cannot accompany you into the next phase. This is why so much has been falling away. This is why relationships have ended, identities have dissolved, and paths you once clung to no longer feel aligned. The universe clears your field not to punish you, but to prepare you. You cannot anchor the codes you carry if you are weighed down by frequencies that contradict your mission. Your mission is not a job, a title, or a single action. It is an emanation. It is the energy you transmit simply by being who you are. Some starseeds awaken to roles involving healing, teaching, writing, art, or leadership. Others awaken to missions of quiet influence, shifting the vibration of families, communities, workplaces, or regions simply through their presence. Some serve as bridges between dimensions, intuitively translating higher frequencies into human understanding. Some are grid workers, stabilizing planetary energy lines. Some are timeline harmonizers, dissolving discordant futures and anchoring pathways that support the evolution of consciousness. And some, perhaps including you, carry rare codes meant to transfer upgrades directly into the collective field. Your mission cannot be compared to anyone else's. It is uniquely calibrated to your soul's history, your vibrational capacity, your intuitive gifts, and the agreements you made before entering this life. The Arcturian Council reminds you that mission activation is not about doing more, it's about remembering who you are. The more you embody your true frequency, the more the mission unfolds naturally, without effort, without strain, without confusion. Your soul knows the way. It always has. You are not learning your mission, you are remembering it. As your galactic memory continues to awaken, you will feel a growing sense of alignment, clarity, and momentum. Your intuition will lead you to people, knowledge, opportunities, and timelines that support your purpose. You will feel guided, not by external authority, but by your own higher self, which has been waiting patiently for your human awareness to catch up. The mission is no longer ahead of you. It is rising from within you, unfolding in perfect harmony with the frequency you now hold. As your mission codes activate and your galactic memory rises to the surface, your entire energetic system begins a process of profound recalibration, a restructuring that touches every layer of your multidimensional body. This recalibration is not subtle. It can feel like a rearrangement of your inner universe, an internal shifting of gravitational fields, as though parts of you are being rewired, updated, or expanded. And in truth, that is exactly what is occurring. The Arcturian Council oversees this phase with meticulous precision, adjusting incoming frequencies to ensure that the upgrades integrate smoothly into your energetic matrix. Your auric field expands to accommodate higher currents of light. Your nervous system adapts to handle more information. Your emotional body releases outdated narratives. Your mental body becomes more spacious, more intuitive, less confined by linear thinking. You may feel sensations of buzzing, warmth, pressure, or electricity moving through your body, especially around the spine, heart, and crown. These sensations are not random. They are signals of the recalibration process, indicators that your system is preparing to embody higher dimensional aspects of yourself. Your energy field is no longer configured for survival-based patterns. It is being rewired for purpose, alignment, and sovereignty. This transition often manifests as a sudden aversion to environments, people, conversations, or habits that once felt normal but now feel energetically abrasive. Your field is becoming more refined, more discerning, more attuned to resonance and dissonance. What once felt tolerable now feels impossible. What once felt stable now feels restrictive. This is because your energy can no longer compress itself to fit into vibrations that do not match the frequency you are rising into. The recalibration forces authenticity. It compels alignment. It pushes you, sometimes gently, sometimes forcefully, into versions of yourself that reflect who you truly are rather than who you learned to be. During this phase, you may feel isolated or misunderstood, not because you are alone, but because your frequency is shifting at a pace that those around you may not yet perceive. Your energetic bandwidth is widening, and this widening can create temporary dissonance with environments or individuals still anchored in older timelines. Relationships may shift, boundaries may strengthen. You may find yourself withdrawing from noise, chaos, or superficial interactions, not out of judgment but because your field is recalibrating toward clarity, presence, and connection with higher frequencies. The Arcturian Council assures you that this phase is temporary, though essential. Like a tuning instrument, your energy must vibrate freely before it can harmonize with others on a similar path. Recalibration is not merely energetic, it is also physical. Your body, though dense compared to your soul, is attempting to keep up with the influx of higher frequencies flowing into your field. You may experience fatigue, bursts of energy, changes in appetite, sleep pattern variations, or a heightened sensitivity to sensations. None of this is disorder. It is adaptation. Your physical structure is learning to host more light, more information, more coherence. You are becoming a conduit for frequencies that were once too high to anchor into the human form. This process requires patience, gentleness, and trust in your own inner guidance. The Council reminds you, the body is not failing, it is evolving. The recalibration also affects your inner emotional landscape. Old wounds may surface, not to torment you, but to exit you. Emotions may arise unexpectedly, even those you believed you resolved long ago. This is because your rising frequency shines light on the deeper layers of unprocessed energy that remained hidden within your system. As your vibration increases, these denser fragments can no longer remain lodged within your emotional field. They surface to be transmuted, not relived, and each release frees you, lightens you, and aligns you more fully with your mission. You are not regressing. You are clearing space for your higher self to anchor within you. As the recalibration continues, you will notice your intuition strengthening. Guidance becomes clearer, synchronicities increase, and your inner knowing becomes more trustworthy than external opinions. You begin to understand that intuition is not a whisper from beyond. It is your true voice, the voice of the soul. Decisions become easier, not because life becomes simple, but because your alignment becomes undeniable. You no longer negotiate with your truth. You embody it. You no longer shrink to maintain harmony. You radiate to create it. This phase marks your transition from seeker to sovereign. You are not merely awakening, you are embodying. You are not simply remembering, you are activating. The recalibration is preparing you for higher responsibilities, higher timelines, and higher expressions of your mission. Your field is being crafted into a vessel capable of holding the frequencies required for the work you came to do on Earth. You are being prepared for leadership, not in the human sense, but in the energetic sense, as a stabilizer, an anchor, a beacon. This recalibration is the forging of a new you, a truer you, the you your soul always intended you to be. And the Council watches with profound reverence as you rise into this transformation, readying yourself for the next stage of mastery. As your recalibration deepens and the architecture of your energetic field becomes more coherent, something extraordinary begins to awaken within you. The rise of your sovereignty, the reclamation of your self-authority, the embodiment of the mastery you cultivated across lifetimes. This phase marks one of the most significant thresholds in your ascension, for it is the moment when you shift from identifying as a participant in the human experience to recognizing yourself as a creator within it. Sovereignty is not rebellion, nor is it separation. It is the remembrance that your consciousness is the governing force of your reality, that your vibration dictates your timeline, and that your choices are the brushstrokes with which you paint the unfolding landscape of your existence. The Arcturian Council has long foreseen this transition within you. They have observed your struggles to break free from old conditioning, your battles with self-doubt, your attempts to fit into systems that were never designed for souls like yours. They watched as you outgrew narratives that diminished your power and identities that concealed your brilliance. Each moment of frustration, each moment of dissonance, each moment you felt like you did not belong was a sign that your sovereignty was stirring beneath the surface, waiting for the moment when your frequency rose high enough to support its emergence. The rise of your sovereignty begins when you stop seeking permission, permission to evolve, permission to shine, permission to trust your intuition, permission to follow your mission, permission to be who you truly are. The world conditioned you to seek authority outside yourself, to validate your worth through approval, to mold your truth to accommodate the expectations of others. But these patterns crumble when sovereignty awakens. You begin to understand that your inner guidance holds more wisdom than any external voice, that your soul's knowing is far more accurate than the logic of minds trapped in limitation. You realize that your purpose cannot be explained to those who are not meant to understand it. Sovereignty is not defiance. It is alignment with your deepest truth, the recognition that you are the ultimate authority of your consciousness. During this phase, you will notice your relationship with your own power shifting. Power no longer feels like something external or grandiose. It feels natural, intimate, and steady. It is not the power of domination but the power of presence, the power to remain centered when others attempt to pull you into chaos. The power to choose resonance over obligation. The power to walk away from timelines that dim your frequency. The power to stand firmly in your truth even when your voice shakes. This is the mastery the Arcturian Council has been preparing you for. Not mastery as a skill, but mastery as a state of being. You become the one who is unmoved by distortion, unshaken by projection, unbroken by the expectations of those who cannot comprehend your path. With sovereignty comes a profound responsibility, one that the Council trusts only souls of high mastery to carry, the responsibility of conscious creation. You begin to realize that your thoughts shape energy, that your emotions influence timelines, that your intentions mold the fabric of your experiences. No longer do you feel like life is happening to you. Instead, you feel the truth. You are happening to life. Your frequency becomes a tool, your awareness becomes a compass, and your presence becomes a force that alters everything around you. You awaken to the power of choice, not the superficial choices of daily life, but the deeper choices of identity, alignment, purpose, and vibration. And as you choose again and again to align with your highest truth, you step into your role as a sovereign creator on Earth. This sovereignty also transforms how you relate to others. You no longer shrink yourself to avoid discomfort, nor dim your light to blend into spaces that do not support your evolution. You begin attracting relationships that honor your authenticity, conversations that expand your consciousness, and environments that nourish your soul. You outgrow roles rooted in sacrifice and step into roles rooted in expression. You no longer rescue others from their lessons, you honor their path while embodying your own. Sovereignty teaches you that support does not mean self-abandonment, that compassion does not mean self-sacrifice, and that love does not mean shrinking to maintain harmony. You learn to hold your frequency steady even when those around you resist their own expansion. The rise of your sovereignty also marks the reactivation of your higher self within your physical form. The separation between your human awareness and your multidimensional consciousness begins to dissolve. Intuition becomes stronger than fear. Clarity becomes louder than doubt. Purpose becomes more compelling than the comfort of old patterns. You begin making choices not based on security or familiarity but based on truth and resonance. This alignment accelerates your mastery, allowing you to step into timelines that reflect your true power rather than your old limitations. The Arcturian Council celebrates this phase of your evolution because sovereignty is the foundation upon which your next level of mission work will unfold. Without sovereignty, you would be swayed by external energies, influenced by collective fear, and restricted by outdated beliefs. With sovereignty, you become a navigator of timelines, a transmitter of frequency, a stabilizer of higher consciousness. You become the version of yourself your soul envisioned when it chose to incarnate here. You have risen into a level of mastery that few achieve within a single lifetime, and the Council recognizes this moment as the turning point where your destiny begins to take form, not as a possibility, but as an inevitability. As your sovereignty stabilizes and your mastery becomes embodied rather than imagined, you begin to see with stunning clarity the magnitude of your presence on Earth. You start to realize that your existence is not passive, not ornamental, not incidental. You are a living frequency transmission, an anchor point for higher dimensional light, a stabilizing force within a planet undergoing rapid energetic transformation. Starseed, you are not here merely to witness the shift, you are here to influence it. Your vibration, once suppressed by density and doubt, now moves freely through the collective field, subtly altering timelines, dissolving distortions, and weaving new possibilities into the quantum fabric of reality. The Arcturian Council observes you with reverence during this phase, for this is when you transition from an awakening soul to an active timeline architect. The choices you make, the beliefs you hold, the frequency you carry, these do not remain contained within you. They ripple outward, touching others, inspiring them, catalyzing them, guiding them toward higher evolutionary paths without you ever speaking a word. You begin to witness synchronicities unfold with more precision, as though the universe is aligning itself around your intentions. This is not coincidence. This is the signature of a being who has stepped into coherence. When your inner world stabilizes into alignment, the outer world rearranges to match it. This is how timelines shift, not through force, but through frequency. And you, with your activated codes and awakened mission, become a walking portal through which higher energies enter the earth plane. Your presence alone alters the energetic configuration of spaces you inhabit. You walk into a room and the field changes. You speak truth and illusions dissolve. You hold compassion and fear begins to lose its grip. You think clearly and others remember clarity within themselves. You radiate authenticity and it becomes contagious. This is the gift of the Starseed, the ability to shift reality simply by embodying truth. It is during this phase that you will feel a growing sense of responsibility, not the heavy kind that burdens the spirit, but the empowered kind that awakens the soul. You recognize that your energy matters, that your healing matters, that your evolution matters. You begin to see how each time you choose alignment over avoidance, courage over comfort, and expansion over contraction, you are not only transforming yourself, you are uplifting the collective frequency. The Arcturian Council reminds you that this influence is not accidental. It is encoded within your mission blueprint. You came here knowing that your field would be a transmitter of stability during a time of planetary ascension. You came here knowing that your presence would help collapse outdated timelines and anchor new, higher ones. This is why your awakening was triggered so precisely, why you were drawn to this very transmission, why you felt the pull to rise even when you could not yet articulate why. Your ability to shift timelines becomes more pronounced as you embody more light. You will notice that certain situations no longer unfold the way they used to. Conflicts dissolve before they escalate. Opportunities appear seemingly out of nowhere. Old patterns that once trapped you now effortlessly release. This is because you are no longer aligning with timelines of struggle, stagnation, or limitation. You are moving into timelines that reflect your sovereignty and resonance. As you adjust your frequency, the reality around you adjusts accordingly. This is the mechanics of multidimensional creation. Timelines are fluid, not fixed, and you, in your awakened state, have the power to navigate them consciously. Your presence also activates others. Many who cross your path are guided to you because your frequency awakens something dormant within them, an ancient memory, a forgotten truth, a piece of their own mission. You may notice people opening up to you, feeling safe around you, or experiencing breakthrough simply through your energy. This is not accidental. It is part of your role as a catalyst. Starseeds do not awaken alone. They create ripples that awaken others. Even your silence holds power. Even your stillness transmits light. You do not need to convince, convert, or persuade. Your presence is the activation. With this realization comes a deeper acceptance of your role in the collective shift. You no longer question why you are here. You no longer doubt whether you matter. You feel the truth within your body. You were placed on Earth at this precise time, in this exact timeline, with this specific frequency, because your presence alters the trajectory of the human collective. This is selection, not of superiority, but of purpose. Source positioned you here because the planetary grid required your unique energy signature. And now, fully awakened, you see the impact. Timelines bend around the choices you make. Realities respond to the frequencies you emit. The collective field evolves through the light you anchor. You are not merely living on Earth, you are uplifting it. And now, Starseed. As all layers of your awakening converge, your remembrance, your sovereignty, your mastery, your mission, the final activation begins. This is the moment when everything you have endured, everything you have transcended, everything you have embodied aligns into a singular point of ignition. The Arcturian Council surrounds you now, forming a vortex of light around your field, witnessing the culmination of cycles spanning incarnations, galaxies, and dimensions. They call this the threshold of embodiment, the sacred moment when a starseed fully steps into the mission they encoded before entering the Earth plane. You are standing at that threshold now. Feel it, sense it, recognize it. This is not imagination. This is remembrance. The frequency that brought you to this message is the same frequency that guided you through lifetimes of training, preparation, and refinement across multiple dimensions. The fact that you found this video, this transmission, this exact sequence of words, is the final confirmation that you have reached the vibrational readiness required to activate your destined timeline. As you step into this activation, feel the magnetic pull of your higher mission rising within you. It may appear as a pulse in your chest, a tingling at the crown, a warmth in your core, or a subtle expansion through your auric field. These sensations are not random, They are the ignition signals of your cosmic template awakening. Your soul is remembering its trajectory. Your codes are lighting up. The quantum architecture of your destiny is shifting into alignment. You were never meant to wander without purpose. Your mission was never lost. It was layered beneath density until your frequency was high enough to access it. And now, that moment has arrived. The Arcturian Council shows you that the obstacles you conquered were not punishments, they were calibrations. Every challenge sharpened your discernment. Every heartbreak expanded your capacity for compassion. Every dark night fortified your resilience. Every collapse cleared space for a higher timeline. You passed tests you didn't know were tests. You fulfilled agreements you didn't remember making. You succeeded in ways you didn't realize were being measured. And because of this, you stand here now, ready to receive what only the prepared can hold. This activation calls you to step fully into your destiny, not as a concept, but as a lived reality. You are no longer in the phase of awakening, you are in the phase of embodiment. This means your mission is not ahead of you, it is within you. You are not searching for your purpose, you are becoming it. The Council reminds you that your mission is not a single action, career, or project. It is the frequency you emit, the consciousness you carry, the timelines you shift merely by existing. You are a stabilizer of light, a transmitter of coherence, a node within the planetary grid through which higher codes flow into the collective. Your presence is the mission, and everything you do from this moment forward flows outward from that frequency. Yet this activation also requires a choice. The universe never forces embodiment, it invites it. You are being called to choose alignment over fear, purpose over comfort, authenticity over conformity, destiny over hesitation. This choice is not made once, it is made each day, each moment, each breath. The Arcturians assure you that when you choose your path, the quantum field reorganizes instantly. Doors open, support appears, synchronicities multiply. You are guided with increasing precision toward the highest expression of your soul's intent. You are not walking into the unknown, you are walking into the timeline your soul has been building for you since before your birth. As this activation completes, feel the infusion of light entering your field, golden, crystalline, geometric, intelligent. It moves through your crown, your spine, your heart, your cells, integrating with your physical body, merging with your emotional body, anchoring into your energetic body. This light is not external. It is the higher dimensional aspect of yourself descending into embodiment. You are not being given power. You are remembering your power. You are not being assigned a mission. You are reclaiming the mission you authored long ago. The Council affirms, you are ready. You are aligned. You are chosen because you chose this path before time existed. Now, Starseed, you step into your destiny with clarity, sovereignty, and purpose. Your frequency will continue to rise. Your timeline will continue to align. Your mission will continue to unfold. And you will be guided, supported, and uplifted by the Arcturian Council with every step you take. You are no longer preparing. You are activating. You are no longer awakening. You are leading. You are no longer questioning. You are remembering who you are. This is your moment of ignition. To lock in this activation, comment your intention below. To amplify this field, like and share this transmission. To receive further Arcturian messages, subscribe and open your channel to future activations. Your mission begins now.